Today I will be talking about the D1 and D2 upper extremity patterns. I will start this video by discussing the D1 upper extremity pattern. In the beginning of this video, I am explaining to the patient what we will be doing and that he should stay relaxed, that I will help walk him through the different positions. So we begin the D1 flexion extension pattern by having him in a neutral position, then moving the shoulder into flexion with lateral rotation and adduction. I then supinate the forearm and add flexion to the wrist and fingers. Then I move into the D1 extension section where the shoulder will then go into extension, medial rotation, abduction, forearm will be pronated, and the wrist and fingers will now go into extension. This video clip gives slight different angles so you can really see the shoulder flexion, lateral rotation, adduction, the supination of the forearm, and then the flexion of wrist and fingers, as well as the extension, medial rotation, and abduction of the shoulder, the pronation of the forearm, and the extension of the wrist and fingers. I will now go in to explain the D2 upper extremity patterns. I again start by explaining to the patient what we will be doing and that he should stay relaxed as I will walk him through it. So here we have the D2 flexion and D2 extension pattern. We start by moving the patient through flexion, lateral rotation, and abduction of the shoulder, with supination of the forearm, and the wrist and fingers are both in extension. We then move to the D2 extension pattern, where the shoulder is now extended with medial rotation and adduction. The forearm is in pronation, with the wrist and fingers both in flexion. I again have given you a different angle so you can really see the movement of the shoulder, forearm, wrist, and fingers through the D2 flexion and extension patterns. In this video, I'm going to talk about the D1 and D2 patterns for the lower extremities. I will start by talking about the D1 pattern for the lower extremity. For the D1 flexion pattern, you will first put your hip into flexion, then adduction, adduction, and then you will have lateral rotation or external rotation. Your ankle will be dorsiflexed and inverted, while your toes are also extended. You will then move to the D1 extension pattern, where your hip will be extended, abducted, and internally rotated. Your ankle will be in plantar flexion with eversion, and your toes will also be flexed. Now I will talk about the D2 pattern for the lower extremity. In the D2 flexion pattern, your hip will be flexed, abducted, and internally rotated. Your ankle will be in a dorsiflexion position as well as eversion, and your toes will be in an extended position. You will then move to the D2 extension pattern, where your hip will be extended, adducted, and externally rotated. Your ankle will be in a plantar flexed position and inverted. Your toes will also be flexed.